everybody, welcome back to the channel. As you can tell, this is a new to me pattern, but the fabric I'm using is a t-shirt I already own, so this is an upcycle to create the refreshed Ruched t-shirt. So here it is. I don't know if you can tell with the lighting at all. It does have it had some wear for sure, but I still like it, but I want to punch up the style a little bit. And so what I've done is just lay this out on my cutting table, and I'll show you here in a second. And what I did was and this is obviously not the official way I would do it, but I just turned it this way, laid it down, and then laid the pattern piece on it. My intent was to do the v-neck, but once I laid the pattern piece over this, I can only do the crew neck. And so because the V goes down really low, I could go up with the V, but the slant of the V cuts off the wording, because the wording is quite high on this t-shirt, so I want all of that. So I figured the crew neck would be fine, so I am going to show you where that is. I still need to cut the shirt apart. The other thing I am going to do is go to Hobby Lobby and get probably a yard, probably don't even need that, probably a half a yard. They have some green fabric there. I want to get, and it's knit, and that I want to get for probably the sleeve after I cut this, because I was a little concerned that once I cut it, because there's not enough room this way for the outer part of the side seam, I should say. There's not enough fabric here, so I might have to do a little Tetris. It's all an experiment, we shall see. But let me turn you around and show you the table. So if you can see here, what I did was fold the front of the shirt in half, making sure that what would be, because this doesn't have a side seam, the t-shirt does not have side seams, and so I'm matching up where the shoulder seams are, and which is not really the true side. I'll figure that out once I get ready to cut it, but I tried to make sure that that G in the front is about halfway on both sides. And so the way I can check that is just taking my pen and I'm putting it where the end of the G meets, and keep shifting it until I can make sure that needle goes through both sides, and there it does. So I'm just gonna try to smooth this out as much as possible. Now I know this is the halfway mark in the front, and I'm actually going to put a few pins, because I know this is the middle. That is officially the middle, so I'm just going to put a few pins in, so when I cut on the sides. But first let me put this pattern piece on. So this pattern piece includes all of the lengths, but I'm doing the cropped. I always plan to do the crop, which ends right here. And so if I lay the t-shirt down, again trying to flatten this out as much as I can without distorting, that is the crew neck that I would have to do, and I'm raising it up so the shoulder seam, and I'll show this to you. And then the crop length is pretty much the end of the shirt. So let me show you what I am looking at. So as you can tell, here's where the wording stops. And so I am pushing this up as far as I can to make sure it's above the wording, and that I still have enough fabric for the shoulder seam, which I do. Now here's what I was saying about the side seam. See how this looks like it's gonna go into that sleeve? So that's why I may just disregard this sleeve altogether and just have this completely flat, and maybe a little bit of this will, you know, that seam there will be part of my side seam, but again, I'm not worried about that. And so this is the cropped length, and so it ends right here. which is fine. I like that. They still give me enough room. I can even move, like if I needed to, I can move this down, but I don't, because I don't want any of that wording cut off. And so that is what I am going to do. I will, and I'm doing that for the back. It really don't matter because I'm not looking for wording on the back. But at any rate, I know I will have to do, I had it marked for the V. See how that V is so deep, and there's no V adjustment that I can make to include all of the wording. So I will have to do crew neck. So okay, let's continue on, and I'll share with you how it all turned out. Hey everybody, okay, now we're cutting to my try on, a quick twirl, and the outcome of my upcycle of my Green Bay Packer t-shirt. I am very happy with how it turned out. Because I did have to use some different knit for the sleeve, for the cap sleeve, as well as the neck band, and I did have to, and I'm going to show you, I did have to add a little bit to the sides there. But first, I want to get into this pattern. So this is, I believe I mentioned before, this is a new to me pattern that I've sewn up. It's not a new to me company. I have seen a lot of people talk about Pattern Emporium and their different patterns, but the first pattern I bought for them was you saw that video, I shared it in my sewing buzz. I bought Spill the Tea, and I also bought the Works tank. But then after the Works tank, earlier in the month of, I think it was the first week of September, so I wanted this right away, as you can tell. It's the Works tank, but it has sleeves, so it has all of the different sleeve options, and it's called the Refresh Ruched t-shirt. And so I end up purchasing that at the beginning of September when it was on sale. And the thing is, if you purchase the Works tank, if you already had that in your account, you got an additional 10% off of that sale price when the Ruched t-shirt was released. So I thought that was pretty cool. I don't know if that's a normal thing with Pattern Emporium. For those who purchase Pattern Emporium, you're gonna have to let me know if that's something normal. But let me go ahead and jump into the pattern, the instructions, the size that I chose, all of that. But first, let me pop in here. If you are interested in becoming a member of SewNaturalDane, I will leave the link down below. There was something fun that I did share with the members. I'll pop up a picture here. You might be able to figure it out, but they got all the details, and that's what for me, my membership do get access to a lot of things I don't talk about here on the channel. Maybe the final thing, but you know, all of the things and other behind the scenes stuff that goes on. So feel free to join. That link will be down below. And then also make sure you get on the SewNaturalDane newsletter list. Again, there is something that I will be announcing pretty soon, and the members already know about it, but then the newsletter list will then get a peek into that as well, and then eventually I'll bring it here onto the channel. But yes, so join the newsletter list. If anything, just join the newsletter list. It's free. And I don't send out a lot of newsletters. I send a monthly one. It's usually around BHM is when you probably get more newsletters from me, but typically it's just once a month, a monthly newsletter. But anyway, so let's get into the Pattern Emporium Refresh Ruched t-shirt. So the thing that I did do, I printed off, because I see I should have just paid attention. Okay, so let me just say this. The instructions. If you're looking for some serious hand holding, they got you. They got you covered. And again, I should probably note up front, you probably see different, I record this video at different times, so you'll see probably my pictures and everything is after I done got my hair done and everything like that. And from the first one I got my nails done. You guys, I haven't had my nails done in several years, and it was time for me to do that. But anyway, that's not what you're here for. Anyway, so they have it's so many pages, and had I paid attention a little bit more, I wouldn't have printed out all of these pages, because it's a total of, just for this t-shirt, and this is not all instructions. Let me tell you what these their pattern includes. Is 51 pages. That's a lot. But what I will say, it's a lot of hand holding, a lot of taking your measurements, upper bust, full bust, determining the difference between, and then doing maybe a full bust adjustment. Then they also have they have a whole section called pattern adjustments towards the end, and they have things in here, is how do you grade between sizes. In here they have adjusting the length, how to do a full bust adjustment, and I think it must be a link to a video or something. Yes, a YouTube video that talks about how to do a full bust adjustment. And then if you need a bicep adjustment, she has a video linking to that. And so printing all of that, maybe not necessary, especially because you get the downloads. You can just always go into your computer and just click on it. But I do like, for me, I do print off my instructions just because I like to write things down. I'm still a pen and paper girl. I have stationery on my website, sewing themed stationery. So if that wasn't a clue, plus my monthly, the sewing makes calendar, monthly makes calendar. I'm a pen and paper person, so I don't mind that. But as many pages that's in here, I probably would have paid more attention and skipped printing some of the pages, because it's a lot of pages, excess pages for me. A lot of pictures and how the I think, what was it? It's a lot of hints and tips, and then, you know, it's like a lot of tester photos in here. I would have just skipped printing all of that. I didn't need to see all of that. But and what is overlocking, insert, you know, I don't need all of that. But anyway, the instructions themselves, very easy, super duper easy to follow, very basic. This pattern only has 4 pattern pieces. So you have the front, the back, the neckband piece. No, it's 5. You have the front, the back, that's 2, the sleeve 3, neckband 4, and then the drawstrings 5 for the ruching effect. The size that I chose, my current measurements, and I think I've been giving my wrong measurements, I feel like, in something, I had to think about it. But anyway, I am making a point actually now for everything that I sew up. I usually do it once a month, remeasure myself, but I'm just going to start measuring myself every time I make something, because there's changes, and I want to make sure I catch those and make sure that if I need to do any fit adjustments. Remember, I shared with you my arm side adjustment, my sway back adjustment. If you're new to the channel, I'll pop the link up here in the iCard. Yeah, I need to pay more attention, so I'm starting to do that. And actually, there's a test that I'm working on that I really went in on some adjustments, and so I'll be happy to share all of that. But my full bust is a 49, my waist is a 43, and my hip, the full, and for me, I count the fullest part of my hip, my tummy, is 55. So what size did I cut? I graded from a size 22 at the bust to a 24 at the waist to a 28 at the hip. And I chose the crop length version. So in the start of the pattern, make sure you read these instructions, because I thought this was pretty helpful. I almost glossed over this, but there is a section called cutting the right length, and in the pattern is described where the final garment should hit based on the length you chose. And so for crop, it says when ruched, the crop length ideally sits below the natural waist with the ruched side seam measuring, and it gives you the measurement. And it says this will end up being at or just above the hip bone. And so initially I thought I was going to do regular, but I was like, oh, I'm so happy I read this. So pay attention to that, so you know on you, if you have a shorter torso, longer torso. I have a shorter torso, and plus with the fullest part of my belly, I knew I didn't want the end of the the end of the shirt to go over all of that. Even with ruching, it wouldn't go up high enough. So now we're going to get into the garment. So as you can see, I use my t-shirt, my Green Bay Packer t-shirt. Let me just kind of pan you down a little bit so you can see that a little bit better. So I wasn't wearing this shirt as much, and mainly because it was just, it just looked a little plain and is pretty wore out. And so, because I'm gonna make more of this shirt, but I figured why not upcycle? Let me go through the pattern and upcycle old t-shirt that I wasn't really wearing, but I do want to wear. I do have now this, if you saw my video, what was it, elevating my casual handmade wardrobe. This is very reminiscent, and I'll pop it up, the look that I shared. There will be a whole look that will be in a future video, but for today you're just going to see this shirt and how, you know, I just put on something so you can just see how it looks on. But so this, what I had to go out and get was some more of this green, and it's a noticeable difference in the green, but it still works because, you know, it's Green Bay Packers, whatever. I use the cap sleeve. Also, I want to make sure I tell you that I did use the cap sleeve. I think I said at the start of the video, my goal was to do V-neck. I don't know what I was thinking, because there was no way I could have done the V without cutting all this off. But I didn't want to cut any of this off. And the one thing that I did not do, and I'm still debating, thoughts, your comments, please, are welcome. I typically, you know how you add on a neckband and then you serge and you turn it under, and then you have the option to stitch it down so that doesn't move. I did not do that, only because if I did, you will see the stitching right through the words here in the front. So I did not. And then I was thinking, well, maybe I could do a top stitch in white and just do white top stitching all the way around, so when it goes through here, it's really no big deal. But then I was like, I don't know if I would like that look, so I just left it for right now. Let me know your thoughts. I can go through. I ran out of green thread, so I don't have green thread, but I have black, and so black going through here, I don't think will look good at all. At least I don't think so. That's why I was thinking maybe I should just do white all around here. It gives another contrast look to the shirt, but yeah, we shall see. So I am going to pan you down so I can show you what I had to do, where I added fabric, which you can't even, well, on me, you know, with movement, you'll probably be able to tell or something, or, you know, raising my hands because I'm cheering for our touchdowns and stuff like that. You'll see it, but even seeing it, it doesn't look bad. It doesn't look bad at all. But here, let me pan down and show you. Okay, so this is one side. So I had to add at the top of the pattern. I just stitched extra fabric, and then I finished cutting out the piece. I recut to make sure the shaping was right on the side. So this is how much I had to add at the top. In this area I didn't have to add anything, but then down here, I did have to add up in here, but it's hidden because I had to sew this together at a larger seam allowance on the side. This is a 1/2 inch, or is it 1 inch? I can't remember off the top of my head, on the side. So a lot of this was gathered in, or enclosed in. And then see here at the bottom how you can see, and then here's the drawstring. Another thing with the drawstring, it wanted you to do the tube method and turn inside out. I wasn't doing that because that's just too thin. The only or narrow of a strip. The one note I will probably make is making this wider so it's easier to turn. And it's knit, so it's gonna fit through the tunnel. But yeah, and you attach, when you do the drawstring, you attach that top, the raw edge up here, and you stitch across. So you have the 2 tunnels of the drawstring, and then this is where you pull and can ruche up and everything. And then on the other side, okay, so here's the other side. So pretty much the same areas, obviously, that I added, and then down here at the bottom. So yeah, I don't think that looks bad at all. Not at all. And see how This is the sleeve. So yeah, obviously it's two different types of knit here, but this is what I wanted to show you around the neckline. See here? So I didn't stitch it down, and if I stitch it down in white, it may work because this here, the white will kind of just blend in with this area, but you'll see it all the way around, which I don't think for a sports shirt would be horrible, would be a bad look. Again, let me know. But I didn't do the black thread because I ran out. I actually had this color thread, but I ran out of it, and I didn't want to do black because that would be so obvious going through here. But white, I was like, that might work. So you all have to let me know. Right now it's just serged and turned under, and I just pressed it really well. But I usually feel more comfortable when that seam is actually stitched down, and don't have, you know, that tendency to kind of flip up on you or something like that. Not all the way up like this, but you know, it'll flip up underneath here, and then this here might cause that to stick out, is what I don't want. Oh, you will have to let me know what you think. This is it, my upcycle t-shirt for the Refresh Ruched t-shirt. I will put this in my upcycle playlist. You know, I just did another one, the handbag, the pearl denim bag. Go check that out. All of that will be in my upcycle playlist. I'll make sure that pops up at the end of this video so you can see some other pieces that I have upcycled. I did want to mention about the sizing. So the sizing, I don't know that I will call this super size inclusive at all. It goes up to a size 30. The height is drafted for is 5'5". But that's fine. You know, you can make adjustments for height relatively easy by lengthening or shortening. But the circumference of for the size 30, the body measurement is set at, let's see here, the bust is set at, to be, the highest is 54 3/4, and this is meant to be fitted, so just remember that too. And then the waist goes up to a 48, and then the hip goes up to a 58. And so I feel like this could go up a few more sizes. I think this is a really good pattern. And so I don't think that is as size inclusive as it could be. That is my thought. And like I said, I went from between 22 to out to a 28, so it worked for me. But if you're larger than me, I'm thinking this is not going to work for you, because I don't think the sizing is really there for that. But yeah, so, but I still like it. I like it a lot, and I cannot wait to do the tank. I want to do the tank first, but I needed this. So this here moved up in the queue real fast. So all right, everybody, that is it. Let me know what you think. I should have popped up some pictures and little videos showing how I ruched it on the side and where it would hit me. And like I said, I wanted mine to hit my natural, I'm very short torso. I don't know if you can tell by me standing here, but I knew when it was ruched, I wanted it above the fullest part of my belly. I didn't want it to be like cut me off. You all know I've talked about that before. I didn't want it cut me off right smack dab in the fullest part of my belly, but up higher. So I like it. I like it a lot. So, and you'll see in a few videos in the future. Make sure you subscribe. Don't forget to thumbs up this video, the entire look. So anyway, that is it, everybody. Again, everything that I talked about is linked down below. And yeah, get on the newsletter list. There is something special coming around the corner. All right, everybody, have a blessed one, and we will see you on Wednesday. Bye.